Does anyone have a question? I have an announcement. I talked about it the other day. I have to do that eye procedure tomorrow. And it really means that I can't teach a class. It's too much. I do this about every 8, 9 weeks. And it's funny about the medical world. They have medicines to sustain something, but not to get rid of it, you know? So every 8 or 9 weeks, I have to have this procedure. Uh, does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Stefan.
So when I am practicing this with you, my mind becomes pretty still. Sometimes it varies. But how do I know if I'm making progress? Stuff comes up, it goes.
Uh, look, there's enough stuff buried inside all of us that it's going to come up for the rest of our lives. So it's not a matter of the stuff coming up. It's a matter of us being able to transform that stuff into chi, into shakti, into energy that gives us life. To take the things that are killing us and learn how to use them so they can give life inside us. That's really the training of this meditation. Because, if you live to 240 years, you're going to have stuff coming up. This is not only from this lifetime, it's from 10 lifetimes in the past, this stuff comes up. And we need to learn to master it. And by getting the mind quiet, getting the heart open, getting centered in the third chakra, being able to use our will, to transform. It's like the title of my book, The Lotus Flower in Muddy Waters. All human beings are lotus flowers in muddy waters. And all they want to do is embrace the sun and be happy. But there's so much muddy water and there's so little training that it turns into anger and upset and I'm guilty and villain and this and that and all that soap opera that, makes the world into a crazy place. It's a lack of training. And over time, you can detach yourself from the things that come up. They don't bother you anymore. And when they do come up, you can use your will, you could use your mind, your breath to get that negative energy to the chakra below the navel where it will become harmony and balance. And by doing that, you not only get a connection with God, but you transform yourself as a human being. All those things that manifest and, those memories that come and this, that, understand, we're stronger than they are. They no longer need to defeat us or take over our lives. We have the capacity to transform them. That, look, to be honest with you, I wanted a spiritual life. I can't remember, I was 16 years old when the quest began. And I never understood. When I was young, I would chant, I would pray, I would read the Bhagavad Gita until I was Bhagavated in the face. I practically knew every line in the book, and I finally realized, Stuart, you are interfering with it. Although it doesn't matter how much intellectual knowledge you have and all that, and what you know about, religion and theosophy, and I was interfering with it. And when I began to study with Rudy, he showed me a technique where instead of interfering with it, I could learn how to transform it and free myself not by dumping it on somebody else. You go to the bathroom, you got to go again the next day, And it's the same thing with our tension. We dump it on other people and then it just builds up again. But learning how inside ourselves to transform the things that are keeping us from truly, first of all, being happy people, and second of all, having a spiritual life. So you don't, these things, look, I've been doing this a long time, stuff still comes up, but I don't allow it to take over. I can bring it down, turn it into chi, and transform it through energy moving through the sexual area into a force of energy that will activate Kundalini, transforming the human to the divine. When you bring it to the chakra below the navel, you're transforming the garbage in life into harmony and balance. You bring that harmony and balance to the base of the spine through the sexual area, it undergoes another transformation. And you're transforming the human to the divine.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Stefan. So look, we're all just human. We get stuff all the time, and it doesn't matter, what, you just master it. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, Bob?
How best to invoke courage in order to work through my resistances?
I just answered that question. I mean it, I mean, look, the lack of courage, the lack of will to internalize your energy, doing all, I can't. You understand? That is part of the training that one gets in doing this meditation. I can't say it enough. This meditation is not a spiritual life. This meditation is building a chemistry inside yourself that will enable you to have a spiritual life. So because you do this meditation, it doesn't mean you're having a spiritual life. Are you using it to transform the lack of courage, guilt, fear, insecurity, depression, I can't in the world, to a spiritual life, into a better way of living in the world? And when you bring that tension of fear to the chakra below the navel, you become its master. Then the heart will open. And when the heart opens itself, and there's gratitude in you to God, to human beings, you have overcome your fear. And that takes a lot of guts to do that. Just to do that takes a lot of guts, a lot of courage. And I have a lot of respect for people that do that. It's easy to blame life for all the things wrong with it. There's so much wrong in this world, But it's never going to change unless people change. And people are not going to change. Few people every generation change. And just getting your heart open, the courage to trust life. You know what a major step that is for any human being, just having the courage to trust life. We no longer have to hide out in ourselves from life. We trust that life is no longer an enemy. Life is a teacher. It takes guts to do that. And that's really what this meditation is about. This meditation is like a boot camp, you know, to learn how to become a spiritual warrior. So most people go away from it. It's too strong, it's too deep, it's too real, it's too full of truth. You've got to confront yourself. You can't hide from yourself if you do this meditation. You can't pretend you're having a spiritual life, because you eat, asparagus and and lettuce. I mean that. It takes guts to live in this world and to be able to transform all the bullshit of this world into your spiritual life. And you become a warrior, spiritual warrior.
Thank you, Stuart. That was great.
You're welcome. Telling you, ask questions. Look, what comes out of me it stuns me, I really need it. It's just energy. It's God, the talking, the higher energy flowing and becoming words. Does anyone else have a question? So don't come here thinking that you do a meditation twice, 3 times a week here and you're having a spiritual life. You're not. You're in boot camp. This is the Kundalini boot camp here. You're learning how to transform all of your inner blocks and tensions into an open heart. An open heart into love. I said the other day, I had this little prayer, please help me to bathe my heart in God's healing energy. And then a voice said to me, God's healing energy is love, happiness, joy. And nobody is going to have any of those things if they don't learn how to keep their hearts open. And that takes a lot of guts. Took me a long time. And I was first angry young man. Until I realized it was getting me nowhere. I once said to Stuart, the only person you live with 24 hours a day is yourself. And if you can't make friends with yourself, forget about making friends with anybody else. And the whole friendship started. Made friends with Stuart. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be meditation on Wednesday. Tomorrow I have to go I get an injection in the eye. I can't do this after that happens. It's really procedure. But it goes away in one day. I have to just kind of rest and relax and take it easy. So if, there are no more questions, God bless you all and thank you. And thank you for being in my life, being in these classes. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Good night.
Good night.
Blessings.